I recently watched a very popular Indian film called RRR, and in the review for that film, I got many recommendations to watch another film called Sardar Udham. So we did exactly that. This is a film based upon true events of the assassination of Michael Dwyer by Udham Singh. The film itself has quite a simple structure, as in the present day we're with Udham Singh as he's being interrogated and being questioned, and then from there we jump into the past and see the events unfold. And something which grabbed me straight away was, from a technical standpoint, this film is very impressive. There were many breathtaking shots of the different locations, and I gotta give credit to the behind the scenes team as well, because they really put a lot of hard work and effort into making sure that these locations were accurate to the time period. I think this film is very much a slow burn type of film because it takes its time to get into the story and also to tell the story, and yes, it is a bit lengthy. There could be a few minutes shaved here and there, but all the scenes are necessary. And many parts of this film really do stick with you, and I'm not just talking about the standout ones like the assassination of Michael Dwyer as well as the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. I'm also talking about the scenes involving like Udham Singh when he's talking about free speech and he's drunk, that sort of thing. It just really unlocks a lot of the humanity of the character there, and also some of the interrogation scenes we have where he responds back to the question about why he wanted to assassinate Michael Dwyer. Was it to do with revenge? And he explains that no, he doesn't hate the British either. It's about this person who embodies evil and he wanted to put an end to him. And something I said in my RRR review is that the British villain characters are very over the top and cartoony in terms of their character portrayal, which worked fine for that film because all it needed to be was a representation of evil for that film. But in terms of actually like being a realistic character, that was not to be seen in that film, whereas here is very much the case. I thought the moments between Michael Dwyer and Udham Singh were really interesting because we get to see that human connection. We get to see him actually tell Udham that you're one of the good ones, you can get a job here and there sort of thing, but that human connection is completely lost when we look to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. I believe director Sujit Sarkar got across brilliantly the mentality of O'Dwyer, like when we see his decision process of sending those orders to General Dyer to open fire on the crowd. We see that the whole reason was because he wanted to send a message and to send it in the most awful way possible. But as we see with speech in 1940, he's applauded for suppressing that major uprising and is seen by many as a heroic figure. Because in his eyes and many at the time, if it wasn't for the British rule, Indian people would be killing each other left, right and centre. So when you look back at his decision when it comes to the massacre, he's thinking, okay, well, a lot of death has been saved because of what we've done, so it doesn't matter if we just add a bit more death if it actually sends a message and is for the greater good. And that total disregard of human life and use of it for strategic operations really hammered home the point that Indians' lives were worth extremely little to these evil people. So when looking at scenes set in the past, we get to see Indians fight for freedom and equality, and something which really stood out to me was actually during the assassination plot, when asked whether they should wait until after the war, Udham Singh is determined, no, this is the perfect time to strike. I gotta say, I thought the actor Vicky Kaushal did a fine job in the role and was very expressive as well. A lot of times didn't even need to say a word and could just get across that emotion with his face. And he really got the emotion of the character across really well, especially in the aftermath of the massacre, where he's just, finding anyone who's alive. And overall, how they showed the massacre was very graphic, seeing women and children getting shot, but yeah, it sort of had to be that way because it had to show the true brutality of the event. And I have to say, I think this is a perfect companion film to RRR because that film is very much a fun action film with a point to say, whereas this one is a bit more serious and shows both sides, I think, pretty well. And after watching Sardar Udham, I did do some research to see whether or not it got any rewards or anything like that. And I came across this article from The Independent saying that the Indian jury actually rejected the film because it projects hatred towards British, with them further saying that it's an honest effort to make a lavish film on an unsung hero of the Indian freedom struggle, but in the process it again projects our hatred towards British. In this era of globalisation, it is not fair to hold on to this hatred. Now, to give you my opinion as someone who is British, I don't think it actually did do that at all. I think it instead projected hatred towards evil. The conversation I mentioned earlier, I think, is a perfect example of this because he said, he doesn't hate British people. At the end of the day, people got to do their duty, but when people in power are deciding to kill people to strike fear into others and make a point, that's not right. Look, I'm sure there will be some British people out there who do not like this film and would rather see things done in a different way, but I'll say give this film a chance because I think it's a really well made film and really well told as well. And yeah, you may not agree with absolutely everything in the film, but at least you've seen this side of the story and you can actually then form your own opinion instead of just trusting one single headline. So yeah, this film does a great job of telling the story of Udham Singh and the movement for Indian freedom, which then later results to the assassination of Michael Dwyer, and it also shows the British side of things in terms of the reaction of the British, but also the brutality and of course the atrocity that was the Jallianwala Bagh massacre. The film did come out in October 2021, so it's nearly been out a whole year now, but it's still on Amazon Prime to watch right now, and it actually was also distributed by Amazon Prime as well. And if you've already seen Sardar Udham, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as previously mentioned, we have done a review for RRR, which is on screen right now if you want to see all our thoughts on that.